Hello, everyone. This is me, Pastor Stephen of Healthy Expressions. Again, it's good to be here. I can't believe that we are in the month of September, but I hope that you had just a very enjoyable summer and that you're having just a great Labor Day weekend. I am going to talk about today to help with your relationship or marriage about emotional health. Now, I know that because it seems like after the pandemic, it's been very, like counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, marriage counselors, everyone's been really busy because uh, people are still finding out, and I think there are a lot of studies being made that it's impacted the COVID, the pandemic has impacted us during this time. And um, people are telling me that it's very hard to find a counselor, therapist, a relationship or marriage counselor because I mean people are just needing this therapy, these sessions to help them to get through some difficult times. So emotional health is something that will, in a relationship or marriage, it will kind of bond you together. It will really connect you. Um, Case in point, when I help out couples, and sometimes the husband or boyfriend will say, they haven't been intimate in weeks or months, and I want to emphasize this, that it's physical intimacy, sex, or whatever you want to call it, is not just a physical thing. It's a deep emotional, mental, and spiritual connection. And when that connection is not there, you know the woman doesn't really have desire for intimacy. um and so I think that um you have to remember this. And so if you have issues right now with physical intimacy, um, look to if you are emotionally connecting with your partner. And so if you can't have, if you feel like you have some great emotional connection with the other person, and your intimacy level, your physical intimacy is not there, that doesn't correlate, right? For there to be great physical intimacy, there has to be great emotional connection with the other person. So work on that the emotional connection. And I think I have 9 tips so that to help you connect with that other person, so that not only for the physical intimacy, but also that you get closer. See, when people start to commit with one another and they're in a serious committed relationship or marriage, you're not supposed to just go on autopilot. You're not supposed to just go the same level, but your job is to get deeper in that relationship, get deeper in that relationship or marriage. And so if you're not growing together, you're not, having a healthy relationship or marriage, it's probably because you're not going deeper in your relationship or marriage. And so I want us to work on these 9 things to help you emotionally connect with the other person, so that you can get closer and that intimacy will be there. So grow your emotional intimacy and strengthen your bonds of love. The first tip is exercise together. You're thinking, huh? Is it because of that sense of seeing them in their exercise clothes? No, it is because they say that when you exercise, you release these chemicals in your body. They call it the happy hormones. You feel, when you exercise, you feel upbeat, you feel happier, you feel just things are positive. And so if you exercise together, right, it doesn't have to be every day, but if you exercise together, you're in this together, you're exercising together, you're not only releasing these happy hormones and feeling good about the other person and good about yourself, it's drawing you guys together. And so and also at the flip side, this is good for your overall health, right? You want to be there for that other person for decades. So exercise together. This is maybe bring this up. And honestly, you don't really have to join a gym. You can exercise together at home. And you can find anything, exercise routines through YouTube, or doing a little research on apps, finding exercise apps. And if this is something for the men, if you take more initiative and bring this up to your significant other or spouse, this will greatly give you brownie points, because they're seeing that not only that you want to do stuff together, but you're also helping each other to be healthy, but also you're explaining it would try to build closer bonds with them. So it's a great idea. Exercise together. Tip number 2 to increase emotional health and connection with the other person is let go of your past. Right? A lot of times, as human beings, we like to go to the past. We like to live in the past. We want to just bring things up, especially when we're fighting, right? When you're fighting with the other person, you are kind of pointing things out again. And of course, you should learn from your mistakes. But if you're a person that continues to point things in the past that the other person did, you will not go forward in your relationship. You will actually go backwards. So to grow this emotional connection, intimacy with the other person, you have to let go of your past. You have to go forward together. This will greatly help your emotional connection. Number 3 is share your appreciation for each other. We live in a world that's very cynical and negative, and we don't really encourage. And I know some of you are thinking, well, they should know, right, that I support them. They should know that I'm behind them. They should know that I'm with them. But once in a while, it would be good to hear that from the other person. And if you make this into a consistent routine in your relationship with that other person or in your marriage, you share your appreciation. And I tell a lot of couples, don't say, you can say once in a while, I love you. I say that because it's been played out, right? People say, I love you, but yet they really don't back it up. I want you to start saying, I appreciate you. I appreciate you in my life. I appreciate what you do for me. I appreciate what you do for us and our family. It really makes them feel good. So I want you to show your appreciation, maybe once every few days, just to tell them. And when you say I appreciate you, it's conveying love and admiration and respect. And it really draws two people together. Number 4, fourth tip on to how to grow emotional health and connecting closer together is touch each other daily. Now, I know that this is not sexual in any way, but also we are people that need connection. And the physical connection, like holding hands or putting your head on their shoulder or stroking their hair or snuggling or massages is it relays the other person that I feel close to you. I feel this connection with you. And so exercise together, let go of your past, share your appreciation for each other, and touch each other daily. A hug, make this into a routine that before you leave for work or before you go about your day and when you come home, hug the other person. Kiss them on the cheek or on the lips and say, I love you, I appreciate you. Touch each other daily to grow this emotional connection with the other person. Number 5, be a positive experience for your spouse. Studies have shown that every negative experience or negative thing that we say to somebody, they say that you need to say 5 positive things to cover that one. So if you say something nasty to your partner, to your spouse, they say that you need to say 5 things, positive things, to help them forget and to move on from that negative thing that you said to them. Now, that doesn't mean you say 5 things back to back to back, but you say 5 things later on that afternoon, that morning, or that evening, later on that day, to cover up that one negative thing that you said to that person. And usually for the couples that I work with, I say not 5, but 10 things. If you say something negative to your partner or your spouse, then say 10 things later that day, positive things to cover up that one negative thing you said. Right? That's challenging. But like I said, a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage doesn't just magically happen. You have to work on it. You have to do things outside of your comfortable zones. And this is one of them. You have to be a positive experience for your spouse or your partner. All right. Number 6, and this is a big one. And this is something that I have to work on more in my marriage, is be a better listener. So we adore the people in our lives who take the time to listen intently to what we have to say. So think about this. When you don't listen to someone who, maybe it's not your partner or your spouse, it could be just a friend. And if you're not paying attention to them, what it conveys is, I just don't care, right? Or I don't have the respect enough to listen to you. When people are talking and communicating to one another, and this is for a lot of couples, that they like to talk, right? But the hard part is they never listen, right? So if you are in a disagreement, maybe not a full-blown argument, disagreement, next time you get into a disagreement, rather than saying what's on your mind and just going off, take that time to listen, or I like to say, hear what the other person has to say. What's the difference, you may say? Listening is you're listening to the words, right? Hearing is your kind of a concept of hearing what they really mean. Listening is great, but are you hearing, like really hearing what they are saying, what they mean behind their words, right? And for a lot of people, we may talk well, but we don't listen well. And so this is what I want you to do. When you want to listen better, and not just like, like what's for dinner or whatever. I'm talking about if your partner or spouse wants to talk, then you know what? They say, look at the person in the eye. Put down your phone. Maybe turn off the TV. I know that You know, a lot of men, they like sports and football season is about to kick off soon. But if you really think about it, your marriage, your relationship is a lot more important than a game. So turn off the TV. And like I said, avoid interrupting the other person. Right? It's like all we want to do is talk. I think that's majority of disagreements become arguments. It's because they're not really listening to the other person. They're not giving the respect to listen to the other person. All they want to do is my rights and my feelings and my way. Instead of listening and saying, and when you listen, you're saying, I'm listening to your thoughts, your feelings, your ways. So be a better listener. Another tip to get emotionally closer is explore something new together. Pick up a new hobby together. Like I know some couples, they maybe play a golf together, or they take a painting class, or they learn a cooking class. Maybe they start a dancing class. Like there's so many things out there. And if you don't have the money or resources to go out there and to buy lessons, then do puzzles. I know I sound like an old man. Do puzzles together, or crossword puzzles, or something that you guys can do together. It could be maybe hiking. That's free. You can find a free place, a trail, and start hiking. Make that into a consistent routine. But find something that both you have never tried, and maybe something that would be fun and interesting. Because if you really think about it, doing something that you've never done, you'll probably make a lot of mistakes, and there'll be some laughter and smiling, and just both of you having a good time. That brings you guys closer together, and it really builds this intimacy. And for you, and I hate to say this, but a lot of men, if you are sitting at home most days, and I know you're tired, and the weekends, now that Sunday football is coming into play, I want you to really take a step back and look and really evaluate your marriage. Is it healthy? Is your wife happy? Because we tend to really look to ourselves and say, are we happy? But in a healthy relationship, you have to look at the other person's point of view to say, are you happy? Are you really happy? And am I doing the very best in this relationship or marriage to make you really happy? And if most men think about that, they would say no. Their wife isn't happy. Their girlfriend isn't happy. They're not trying the very best. Because for a lot of times, they think, well, I got the girl. We're living together. She married me. And then they push autopilot and just coast. But I'm telling you, that other person will be very, very unhappy. And there is a possibility that person will leave you. So please be really willing to look at your relationship or marriage in an unbiased way. Yeah, you may think you're happy and everything is good, but really look and do some detective work and think if that your spouse or your girlfriend is really happy in the relationship or marriage. Tip number 8, be the best possible version of yourself, meaning take care of yourself physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Is who you are right now, is that the best possible version of you? Right? We're all getting older. I'm realizing every time I wake up, I gotta step back. My flexibility is not there. My hips, my knees, my ankles. I may look young, but I'm 53. My body is saying, you're not that spry, 20-year-old or 22-year-old. And so I decided, a couple of years ago that I need to work out more. I need to, stay in shape so that I can be the best possible version for my wife and for my family, and that I could be alive for decades, to be there for her, next to her side, to support her. And so it's not only physically, but also spiritually, if that means meditation or prayer. I always say there's 4 aspects to a person: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And if they're all doing well, then you're humming along. But if one is low, it will pull the other aspects low. And so, in order for you to give the best possible version of yourself, all 4 of those aspects of you have to become better. They have to be in a good place. So if maybe, you're not physically healthy, then start doing something about it. Again, you don't have to jump full blown, but start taking care of yourself physically so you can feel good about yourself and to be there for the other person. Spiritually, like I said, it gives you this harmonious peace in your life, so that because if you're not happy, if you don't have peace within yourself, you're not going to have peace in your relationship or marriage. Right? If you don't have peace within yourself, there's not going to be peace in your relationship or marriage. Emotionally, like, sometime we have to grow up and mature. My parents used to worry about me growing up because, and still now, if you know me, I'm silly. I'm laid back, silly. Doesn't look like I take things seriously, but I do when I have to. But emotionally, there are certain points in my life I could look at that I had to grow up and mature. When I finally decided to ask my girlfriend to marry me, who became my wife, that I needed to mature, right? I can't live the single life because now I'm engaged and now I'm married. I had to grow up and mature. Emotionally, I had to mature when we had our first child. I had to grow up, I had to mature and take responsibility as a parent, as a father. So ask yourself that. Am I emotionally mature? Am I giving the best possible version of being emotionally mature to my significant other, my spouse, and to my family? And the last tip for you to emotionally connect and get closer with your significant other or spouse is show an interest in your partner's life. Now, I know that you have no desire to know, sports, right? You have no desire about certain shows or hobbies of the other person. But if, in order for you to really get closer, you need to know what they like. Again, it doesn't mean that you have to like exactly what they like or get into what they're into. But when you show some interest, when you show like you know something about what they're into, and that could just be asking them on a certain times, just asking them, hey, what's this like, or asking questions. What do you do when when you're doing something that you enjoy? Tell me more about it. And when you ask these questions to the other person, it tells them that they're interested in you, that they're getting to know you. And that's really important. And so, but again, a lot of people, once they're in a relationship for years or marriages for years, they start to forget. They start doing the work of getting to know that other person. And that's your job for the rest of your life, especially in marriages, if you're going to be with that person, is to get to know them, because they change just like you change over time. So you check out what's changing in their life. And it comes with clear and simple communication. So show an interest in your partner's life. You don't have to know exactly everything about their friends, what they're talking about, but just when they tell you information about a friend, surprise them and say, a few days later, oh, how, your friend's situation going? That'll blow them away. And they'll feel like, hey, he or she cares. And that builds a strong bond between you and the other person. So I want you to really take these 9 tips and, again, exercise together, let go of your past, share your appreciation for each other, touch each other daily, be a positive experience for your spouse, be a better listener, explore something new together, be the best possible version of yourself, and show an interest in your partner's life. If you try to do these things, you will slowly see that you are getting emotionally closer with the other person. And so take this challenge, use these tips, better your relationship, better your marriage. And I hope that you learn something from today. Again, at the end, there is my website, has my email, has my phone number. If you're interested in reviving your relationship and marriage, please contact me. I would love to help you out. So you have a great week, and I will see you next week. And so you have a great day. Hug your partner, hug your spouse, tell them that you love them, and I will talk to you next week. Bye now.